Okay folks, just got this housing laying up on the frame, just checking the widths, everything looks good. Getting ready to make some perches for this thing. So what I done was I actually took that 3/16 2x3 tubing. I cut two pieces 6 inches long, and then I split the bottom off of it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chuck these up in the mill, and I'm actually going to take and make sure that this is the exact height on both of them. Get them good and smooth. That way we can actually cut out our piece. I'll show you. These will actually be cut to fit over top. And then our holes will be in this end of it, and our center pin to line it up on the trailing arm, and then our other two bolt holes for the U-bolts to go through. So go ahead and get at that. Okay, now we got to cut out our half moons in this piece, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and tack weld this together, and then here is our axle size. Here is the bearing race, and if you notice, I lay the bearing race out. This will fit inside of it. Not all the way through, but part of the way, and that's all we need just to clear our boring bar. I'm going to put it on this way. We'll tack these together, and then I'm going to put this exactly in the center and weld it on. I'm only going to weld it in. We'll weld it in 3 spots and try to take them apart from each other, because I got a 3-jaw chuck and I don't want the jaws to be hitting the welds. And it's going to be temporary weld. We'll be able to take it back off when we're done. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. I don't have a faceplate or anything for the lathe, so this is going to be our cheating way here of turning our holes out. Alright, I'll show you as I go. Okay, here's what we've got. So now we're going to chuck this up in the lathe and bore our hole through it. Okay, we've got the outside bored to size, and now we're going to do the inside, and then we can take her loose. Okay, holes are bored. Now you can see why I needed to go bigger. I went right to the inside of that bearing. We're going to go ahead and cut this thing apart, and I'll show you how it fits. Okay, and here's what we got. Putting on just like they're made for. So I didn't have a drill bit long enough to be able to go through everything, so we're going to mark it out, draw our center hole first, and then we'll do our other 2 holes, and it'll be ready to, I can be able to bolt it together, and I'm not going to weld these on until quite a while. Okay, so far I just got the 1 hole drilled in them, lined up. That was a 5/8 hole, so I went on and done exactly 5/8, and they're on there good and straight and tight and all that. So I'm just going to set the rear end down in it and see what it looks like, and then I'm probably going to call it a night. I was going to go ahead and do one of the axles. I really need them both, do them both at the same time, but I got to get the gear back in the rear and the carrier and everything. So that will, over the weekend for sure, we'll definitely do that. But let me get the rear set in and see what it looks like. Okay, this gives you some kind of an idea. But the difference is, you know, what's going to happen. Them bars will be down probably 3 inches lower than what they are, and then the bar will actually angle down, and then this will be closer to being flat when I'm done, and all this gets cut away, and we have the other part of the frame that's got to come up and back, and then our coilovers will go on a cross member back there. So it's going to work out just fine. So I need to I've got to drill the other holes and get the U-bolt, either get the U-bolts out of the truck or buy them, and I really don't want to buy them, so I'm going to check the ones out in that truck out front and see how, you know, what kind of shape they're in, and they should be the right length, and we'll go from there. Now these I may, you know, angle back and clean up before it's over with, but that's just the basic start of them. I wanted to go ahead and get them exactly right and get them, you know, the holes drilled right and get the half circle cut out in them, I guess you can call it. But anyway, this weekend, over the weekend, I'm going to start putting the carrier back in, and we'll go ahead and get the axles done. I know a lot of people want to see how I'm going to do them, and you know, it's basically going to be. I will grab it. I think I've showed everybody, but I'm going to show you again. Okay, here's our axle, and our axle plate on the end. You know, it actually slides in and bolts to the spindle on the outside. And I'm going to go wherever I need to go. Let's just say right here, cut it. I'm not going to machine down much. I really don't want. I don't want to put an edge on this thing to where it, you know, could possibly break. I can radius it, but I don't want to go much smaller. I just want to clean it up really good until it's nice, smooth, and shiny. I get a measurement from that, and then I'm going to bore the hole through the center of this. 4,000. I'm going to try 4 thousandths undersize, and 4 thousandths is quite a bit for something this small. You know, 4 thousandths is not much when you talk about something like this, but or not as much, because you'll get a, you know, anytime something's bigger radius, it's going to stretch more when you heat it. So this is only going to go so far. We'll freeze it. We'll slide it together, and I'll set it up to where I can bring it out, maybe a 1/4 inch, and then, you know, we'll put a really good weld on it. We're actually going to, we can dial indicate it in the lathe, get it exactly straight. And the one thing about an axle like this, you know, a floating axle is a little bit more forgiving than just a regular axle. So, you know, if for some reason it was a little tiny bit, you know, a 1/2 thousandths off or something like that, it's not going to affect it as much as, you're not going to get any wheel wobble out of it. Let's just put it that way. And but, you know, we do want to get it just as right as we can get it. And something for people to look up. You know, I've actually had somebody come on there and basically say that a Dana 60 was crap, but if you really go and look, when it comes to bone stock Dana 60 compared to a bone stock 9-inch Ford, the Dana 60 is going to beat it every time. Now, you can buy a lot of parts and you can make a 9-inch stronger than this rear, but for a stock rear, this is going to be a little stronger. It's going to be a little heavier, but it's set up a little different for the pinion, the angle that it comes into the ring gear, I guess, and you actually lose a little bit of friction there. So for the, I think, 15-pound difference in weight, they claim that you get it back with loss of friction. So, you know, but like I said, the reason I'm using this is because we've got it. It don't have anything to do with, you know, I'm going to go out here and try to, you know, win first place in a race or something, you know. And I know some people seem to have a problem understanding that, but we're just building this from parts we've got. I was actually offered a rear end from a friend of mine that I didn't know he had, Dana 60, already narrowed. It was 35 inches, which is an inch narrower than this. I could have got by with it. It was had 5-on 5.5 Ford lug pattern, truck lug pattern, and I think it had like 488 gears in it or something. And it was already ready to go, and he told me he'd give it to me. But the reason I didn't take it is because I told everybody that I was going to narrow the rear for this, and you know, I didn't want to go back on my word. So that's why we're continuing on this rear instead of running a, you know, a different rear. And anyway, you get an idea. I've run into an issue on the holes for this, the actual holes for the mounts, because they need to go about halfway down this frame. I want to make bushings and run through and then weld them. I want them perfect. The problem is I can't drill them because my mag drill won't fit in because I've got this here. So it's not mounted on this end. I'm probably going to go ahead and slice it maybe 3 sides and bend it out, or slice it 3 sides and bend it down, and then that way I can mag drill them holes how I want them. I'm going to go ahead and you know, they're 5 or 3/4 what the bolt is. I got grade 8 bolts to go through it, but I'm going to go probably 1.25 inches. Here's actually one of the bolts. I'm probably going to go 1.25 inches with it and make a steel bushing that goes through the frame and welds on both sides. I don't want to trust the frame, you know, when you're tightening the bolt up, to crush. So So that's one of the things we got to do pretty soon. We're going to keep, like I said, on the back side of this for a little while, and then we'll move back to the front. But we'll try to get everything finished up I can back here. But and like I said, I wasn't going to do the axles yet, but I want everybody to see how I'm going to do them, and you know, that way we can keep the videos close together on the rear end. And so we'll get on it and get it finished up. Seals I ordered through Rock Auto, and I think we're going to have about $9 or something in all 3 seals. Got the inner wheel seals and the pinion seal. So and I think I've got some rotors. I'll show you that. Okay, I'm hoping these are going to work. This is actually one of the hubs for the rear end, and I can machine either this out a little bit or this down a little bit, either one. It's not quite going in, but these are rotors that are very thick. They're going to need to be turned, but these are, a friend of mine brought me these. These are from an ambulance, and I didn't realize it, but when they do ambulances, they never turn rotors. They always put new ones on, and I sort of, one of their little rules there. But we can pop this in, bring the studs in from the outside, and we've got our rotor done. But like I said, I want to narrow this up some and lighten it up some. It's pretty heavy, and it's got way more meat on it than what we need. You know, we're not going to be stopping for 200,000 miles. So anyway, that's the deal here, and we'll continue on the rear end, and we'll get them axles cut over the weekend. All right, appreciate everybody watching. Bye.